So, welcome everybody. Appreciate you taking out the time on a Monday to be here. My name is EJ with the EverReflect team, AMA. We have a special guest in the house tonight. There have been a few rumors, a few inclinations that we were going to partner with another solid project. And if you guys were paying attention to the Telegram chat yesterday, you would have seen a group of individuals that I've talked highly of for a number of weeks, even back into December, that we've come to know fairly well a number of the team members, but going back to a philosophy of integrity, philosophy of partnering with other valuable resources and valuable teams that we believe are doing things correctly in the blockchain, and also have projects that are going to implement utility tokens into real world applications. So without further ado, I would just like to announce this. This guy is one of, hands down, the smartest human beings I've met in the space. And you guys will see that today. The EverReflect partnership that we're announcing today is with MetaBUSD. We have their CEO and their founder, Chris, in our chat today. And I just want to say it's a true honor, a pleasure. And some of the stuff that this guy will talk about will just blow you away, because the vision, the plan, and the team he has in place, not even considering the connections and the strategic partners that he has from being in the space for so long. So Chris, thank you so much for joining our AMA and being here today.
I really appreciate that introduction. That was excellent. Yeah, my name's Chris. Again, everybody knows me as Meta Captain, founder of MetaBUSDcoin, and true friend and believer in EverReflect and EJ here. I think there's some great utility options. Do you guys hear me okay? Is my audio all right?
I can hear you. I think if there are any mods or admins that are having issues, just you can chime in. But nope, I can hear you just fine.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, I mean, some of the ideas that we've got on the book as far as what we want to do with working together are some really groundbreaking ideas. And through the connections that I have directly within the space, as well as within my development team and what we're working on, combined with the connections that EJ has within his space and his career, we have true utility that we're going to be able to bring to the forefront for both parties involved, as well as deliver amazing products to the end user. And we don't just mean like our holders and our investors, but we also mean to just a general community.
So I got a couple of questions for you. One of those, for people that are not familiar with you, will you just give kind of a little bit of a background? Because I know that you have an extensive, more extensive background, even the jokes you're making today about when you had to basically go buy a lunch and you had to go to BSC scan today. Give us a little bit of background about Chris and like where you've come from before we get into the MetaBUSD stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. So officially what I did, I guess, as a career starting out was just a PLC programmer for primarily the automotive industry and the amusement industry. So I programmed logic controllers to operate machines, essentially, and that's what gave me my development background.
Right.
My foray into crypto was just primarily the same as everybody else's. I owned a small business at the time called Kentucky Cellular Repair, and I fixed phones, computers, laptops, 3D printers, stuff like that. And through that, I guess just networking with a lot of like-minded young individuals, we started investing in crypto really early on. And because I had a plethora of knowledge for script languages, Python, and stuff like that, I just fell into early on going into reading contracts, figuring out how it worked, then going on to writing and so on and so forth. And since I had such an early involvement on the developer level, it led to, of course, connections and involvement with numerous projects over the years. And that as well has led to further connections and further involvement in numerous more projects and continues to grow.
So question then. So you have a successful career. You're obviously a very sought after person. If you're a dev or if you've worked on a project, I guarantee you've heard his name coming up with either helping to audit a contract or helping to look over a contract. What led to you deciding to do MetaBUSD?
Oh, so I have a personal group of hobbyists within my own in real life space here in Louisville, Kentucky. And we do things like we were very early adopters for 3D printers. So we built some of the early stage 3D printers. We honestly, on a high end level, contributed to the open space development of like the Prusas and the Mendels. We were early adopters to most technologies, and that includes virtual reality. So on our own, we have already been building experiences and applications for different companies and projects over the years, and that just in its own thing was like, hey, we really want to do this. We have this idea, and there's actually a necessity for on-chain interaction in VR. And without having to dive too much into my own project, but there's certain transactions that are facilitated in any game, honestly, but that really come up in VR that it makes a whole lot more sense if that transaction is actually conducted on chain. And what I mean by that is whenever you get into avatars and you get into in-game rewards and in-game purchasables, those really all should be NFTs, and you should be able to carry those cross-platform, cross-game, especially in a VR experience. Because when you're in an immersion world of sorts, you really feel like you are who you are in that world. You are your avatar per se. Right. And if you can't carry yourself from game to game and carry your loot and carry your stuff, I personally feel like that takes away from the experience. So there's already in the VR space itself a push to kind of figure out ways to enclose that experience. And one of those ways is allowing onboarding of custom avatars. Well, if you combine that with having the ability to onboard crypto and NFTs into that space and be able to facilitate those transactions, it all just makes sense. It all falls into place. It's not even that it's a desired product, it's a needed product. It's a needed utility within a space, and that's what made us dive so head first into it. So like even on our team and our token and stuff, we're actually skipping a lot of the main street stuff, like the actual phone application for your wallet. We're literally immediately just developing a VR wallet vault. We might release a phone wallet down the road, but we're mainly just worried about the VR stuff. So we're pushing headfirst heavy. We want to be first in market with a few of the products that we're delivering, and I think we're going to be. That being said, that's what led us to do it. We saw a need for it, so we're just trying to fulfill a necessity in the market. And one of the great ways of doing that was providing a token to the public to help facilitate that community. One, first and foremost, we want to make sure that we're onboarding into a crypto-built space, actual crypto enthusiasts. That way, we're actually facilitating commerce through decentralized finance. We want that to be like an essential on our platform day one.
So going back to the concepts that you guys have in the platforms and obviously the utilities that you're building with Meta, being in the VR virtual reality space, what do you think a potential token that has an aspiration to do something in the live entertainment NFT ticketing space, where does your brain go when you potentially have a conversation with a person like that?
See, that's I love that because that's something that I already highly engaging currently. I've been to hundreds of concerts in VR, especially during COVID and during the pandemic worldwide. There were a ton of events that went to virtual only. And even coming out of that virtual only scene, that technology and that facilitation of the actual infrastructure that it took place to make all that happen, even on a wider scale, because it was already happening before COVID.
Right.
But once
Right.
COVID happened, it happened. Everyone decided to do it.
More mainstream,
So
right?
yeah, way more mainstream. So now that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So almost every concert that goes on a major event now is already currently available virtually in one form or manner or another. And being able to onboard those experiences and combine those brand partnerships is just a no-brainer in my opinion. It's something that we planned for early on, and this partnership is really going to help facilitate that.
And so tell me a little bit about what would be the highest end virtual reality concert experience that I know that you have a number of connections that go into that space that can actually facilitate the actual camera works and of being live in person at a real world event taking place in real time virtually. So what would that look like in the ideal situation that Meta will be able to provide for NFT ticket buyers?
Well, the great thing is, really honestly, the sky is the limit. The way we're able to partner with the different providers, even on the high end level, some of the venues that were currently available just recently, and this is a terrible shout out, I know, but if everybody was interested in that whole Travis Scott scandal, you could have been there in VR that night. You could have been there in VR that night. MetaBUSD at the time wasn't providing that service, but if we had everything launched and ready, we would have been able to onboard that experience for anybody that was there. So honestly, as long as the licensing deal is available, we'll be able to provide that experience. It's not just necessarily concerts either. All the Triller fights, all of the pay-per-view boxing events, everything has gone to allowing some sort of virtual viewing experience. And if we're not able to provide the full VR level for you, we will at the very least deliver a space for you to be able to watch it on a giant screen in VR with a campfire and a whole bunch of community members right around you. So the sky is the limit as far as what we're able to actually provide. And dependent on what the NFT ticket is for itself, it could be lifetime memberships to certain events and certain types of events. It could be just memberships to only certain top level events. And again, we're not just talking about concerts and actual like boxing events and stuff like that. Like for somebody personally like me, I'm really interested in things like rocket launches and having a front seat to the next SpaceX launch or the next Blue Origin launch, stuff like that. And being able to hold an NFT ticket that maybe gives you a blanket access to every event that takes place on a certain level.
Right. Yeah. That was something that we hadn't even discussed about previous to that. But I love the idea and the creative thought process behind that, because concerts, everybody can wrap their mind around, but you start talking about wrapping it around, sporting events, soccer events, boxing events, things of that nature. It's like, okay, I can see how there's a large market and a large audience for this, but now getting into real world experiences that when else are you going to be able to see a launch of a shuttle or to go witness something that's taking place live in real time in a VR space it's something that we always thought about when you watch like Back to the Future or when you're growing up in the 90s, you know, I'm a child of the 80s. Like it always seems so futuristic, but in all reality, that concept, even Coach was talking the other day about being able to go into a shopping center and being able to buy your groceries virtually through VR, having to have obviously the conduit and the utility tokens to be able to purchase those items. But that is on the cusp of the realities that in the products and the platforms that you guys are building right now, which is amazing.
Absolutely. And the thing to consider as well, especially with something like an NFT ticket,
Yeah.
the ability to not only have that experience in the virtual world, but also be able to carry that ticket and go and do an actual live event, and then that ticket still carry value again back in the virtual world. You know,
Right.
continuously holding that value over time, giving that a long-term lifespan utility. It's the way it should be done. Is what's so important about it.
Well, and even bouncing off the ideas you were talking about earlier today, just like the concept of throwing other assets in with that NFT, whether it's token related, whether it's digital videos, whether it's things that are like photos from an event or an experience. Like there's so many different assets that can be coupled with that NFT ticket, either pre-event or even post-event.
Correct. And
Which is
just
amazing.
giving anything to the NFT itself that extends its life and extends its value is just
Right.
something that's so overlooked in the space that alone is its own unique concept almost.
Right. Right. Yeah, because most of the time, even if you had a paper ticket, maybe it has some value, you know, to you because of the fact that you attended the event and you want to end up like putting it up on the wall or something. But if it's, say, a QR code or something that you're just buying currently from your phone and scanning it, you're probably, I mean, we went to a country show with my dad a few months back. I'm not going to look at that QR code in my wallet, you know, my Apple wallet, probably ever again, unless it's by happenstance. Whereas with something with an NFT ticket, like you said, still can carry value onto the blockchain later and can also be coupled with other assets that you might want to view again, or that it might be a nice reminder of like, okay, I remember this special event or this special day. I still have this video. I still have these photos. I still have potentially tokens from the purchase of that NFT. It's pretty, you make such great points about that. The assets that carry on after and the value after the actual event are amazing.
And like on our platform, something that we do with ours, and I would totally be open to onboarding any of yours as well into its own special machine. But we have a NFT VR claw machine that allows you to recycle down an NFT that you already own down to a base value on BSC, so it always retains a certain set value.
Yeah.
And then once you recycle it down, you're able to play those credits towards a claw machine game that allows you to reward yourself with it. It's still a mystery NFT, but it's a virtual claw machine. It's engaging. You might not win every time, but you might
Right.
win, and it allows you to pick up a random box, and it's a surprise NFT at the end.
Yeah, I think that that's the coolest part about your brain and what your team is doing is that you're implementing utility tokens into real world experiences, and then you're also implementing other things that so many people like to take advantage of that are just online gaming, and the whole space that you guys are going to be able to create with your platforms is going to be. I'm excited because of it.
And so much of it really is just built around making sure that the community stays rewarded and engaged. I want to make sure that we're providing services that anybody who isn't a community member can participate in, and as well be rewarded for participating in it. It's a top
Right.
priority of mine and my team and anybody that I don't want to work with, and I know you're the same way. I've seen what you've done recently over the past little bit with as far as allowing everybody to verify the math behind everything that went down with launch, and rewarding those that have gone through the process of working out that map and doing their own research and learning for themselves exactly how that works. And
Right.
that's so important because it's not just giving them something, it's actually showing them how to pay attention to this and how to learn from this.
Well, and you know personally that it's not necessarily one of these. I think, I mean, you can't have ego in this space. And it's not a matter of, oh, I'm smarter than you or I know how to do this. This is education because there's so many different aspects. Even some of the things we were talking about today with other launches or other just transactions that take place on BSC Scan, that until you kind of have somebody explain it to you or you know how to plug in the numbers or there's certain math that you know how to calculate, you become a much more valuable asset, not only to the community, but really to the rest of the world, because not only do you know how to then get onto a Trust Wallet and MetaMask, but then you can also show somebody how to get BNB to buy any number of tokens. And then once they purchase those tokens, if it's a tax reduction token, you know how to be able to calculate, hey, I can show you market cap, or I can show you the price, or I can show you where exactly you bought in the blockchain, where on BSC Scan you purchased at. Like there's so many valuable aspects of education, and that's our foundation has always been community, build a foundation of friends, build rapport, and then educate everybody, because we're not always going to be the ones that are the smartest, but we want to be able to encourage other people to learn.
And I completely understand when you're dealing with factors that we're talking about in the trillions of tokens, and you're talking about a factor of 7% liquidity versus market cap, and having to figure out exactly what the impact is on per purchase of, a couple trillion tokens here or there, a couple 100 billion tokens here or there, and deciding what that impact is versus that liquidity raise, that it becomes difficult. And if you're new to the space and you're looking at it, it seems unfathomable that between 1 second and another second, you get literally a third of the tokens. Yes, that really is the case when you're talking about volatility at the level of 7 to 10% of liquidity to market cap. That's what it is. And education is everything there, and showing people how to navigate that space and how to learn. But honestly, just from experience is the best way. Getting burnt once or twice or figuring it out, like, hey, whoa, what happened here? And as long as the team that's behind it, like you guys have done and have stood up to it and stayed open and active about everything, that's the best response that you ever could get in this space. I've been involved in this space for a long time, and you guys have handled it amazingly well. It's very rare that you see a project with the type of needle that you guys had and just face it the way you guys did and have came out the other side just standing strong still. It's amazing. Compliments to you guys.
And thank you for that, because I know from the team, and this is on behalf of all of us, that there's so much in this space that you're trying to do right, and there's always going to be hiccups, right? But when you try to do something right, and then you go back and you're like, hey, we're still trying to do everything right, day in and day out. We're not planning on doing anything that's going to hurt the project, and we're not going anywhere. We're going to be consistently working on basically the behalf of all of the holders. And it takes some time, but it also takes some consistency to show, all right, you can trust us. Okay, we are going to work our butts off, and we're going to continue to keep doing these things. We're going to keep aligning ourselves with strategic partners like you and your team, because it makes us stronger. It makes the community stronger. It makes the token stronger. It makes your token stronger. And it basically, we were talking earlier about the uniting of DeFi, and the concept of this isn't an East Coast versus West Coast, Biggie versus Tupac type of space, that we're not in it to fight each other, because we're all really micro in the whole spectrum of cryptocurrencies. So by aligning with partners and talking about other tokens and talking about other solid projects, it actually creates a stronger foundation of not just a core team that turns into a core community. Now it's a core foundation of teams upon teams and communities upon communities. And from our standpoint, that's what we will continue to keep doing day in and day out, because we know projects like yourselves are going to be here in a week and a month and a year and 10 years from now. There's no hesitation because we know your passion behind it, and because you've already been here long enough that you don't just do something to like half-ass it. It's like, no, if I'm going to do this, we're going to see it through to the end, and we're going to keep busting our way through and learning the whole time that we're doing this, because that was the mission. That was the goal. We're going to be the ones that are constantly working towards that.
Well, and that's what it's all about, is just staying constantly available and constantly on it, and just staying dedicated to the development and the project itself. And I know that's what you guys are all about, and that's why this partnership's going forward.
Yep, for sure. So we've chatted for about 26 minutes. I think if you're cool with it, would you mind if we open it up for a few questions, or are you late for?
I wanted to say one more thing before we open it up for questions. I know me and you have been talking about it, but I think it'd be great I know I've already told my community. I don't know if you've told yours yet, but just good timing for it. We will be conducting a roundtable United DeFi talk between myself, EJ from EverReflect. I got Toten Maker from the BUSD Buffet, and we will have Crypto Rabbit from Reflex, possibly Miles as well, but for sure Crypto Rabbit. That will be the first event that we will be holding. We have a couple influencers involved as well. I'll let Ben make those announcements through those channels, but that event will be going on at some point over the next week, and it'll be just the first of many.
Yes, and the no, I have not actually announced the roundtable discussions that we will actually promote across multiple communities to basically reinforce this concept of uniting teams and projects. And even though he didn't go into the influencers, I will state this, that there's some pretty big names, and a lot of people will be very impressed with the participation of the influencers at this roundtable. It's going to be, I think, massive, and it's only going to grow from there.
Absolutely.
So we will, if you don't mind, we'll open it up we'll do a couple of questions. We do have, I almost deleted you there. Dirty Mike Crypto, one of our resident YouTubers extraordinaires. So what question did you have, Mike?
What's up, EJ and Chris? I'm definitely enjoying getting all this information. My question to you, Chris, is I know we spoke about, as far as like live events, concerts. Are you thinking about getting into like experiences, like maybe climbing a mountain or, going hiking different places, like seeing different parts of the world? Is that something that could tie into something like this, like actual experiences as opposed to just like events?
As far as our platform goes, yes, our platform for the NBC lobby is open to a vast array of not just experiences. We'll, of course, have media events, experiences themselves, not just, as you say, like wandering experiences and mountain climbing and scuba diving and stuff, but we're also going to have like gaming experiences. Some of them will be blockchain, some of them will be off blockchain. Most of them will be through partner brand partnerships, as well as existing development communities. As well, from our lobby, you'll be able to portal into other existing experiences that exist within like the Oculus or Steam platform. So you'll be able to go directly from our lobby into VR chat. We're trying to get our portal to go directly into our own MLM room from VR chat. All that stuff's still getting worked out, but you'll be able to do those things, as well as we'll have our own homemade experiences, so to speak. Most of those experiences will be directly linked to crypto, though. So we'll have our own decentralized exchange that you'll be able to operate in VR. The very first offering will be an interactive virtual virtual reality wallet that will let you interact with your currencies in a 3D space.
Great.
I hope that answers that question.
You just talked about a virtual reality crypto wallet. Like, I mean, the amazing part is knowing you and knowing your skill set and how your brain works. It's awesome. And there's a lot of different influencers and a lot of other connected people that know Chris and can attest to this as well, that like his brain operates at a higher level than most. And that's, and it's just true. And I think a lot of people can hear that today, that, you know, just some of the aspects of what you already have planned, but knowing that you can actually fulfill on those promises is pretty, it's staggering.
If it makes you or anybody else feel any better, I've never played any sports ball, and I'm not a social person. So if that, I have deficiencies, you know, but my deficiencies definitely exist.
But that's almost good for the resume for some people that are looking to invest in some of these things. That like, okay, well, he's not a social person, so I guess I trust it. That's awesome. All right, we have the fifth element. How are you doing, my bud? You should be unmuted to ask myself or Chris any questions.
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, man. How are you today?
Actually, it's winter. It gets dark at 4:30, so it's as best as it could.
Right.
I can't wait till spring and winter, summer come. To be honest, I actually had a good question, but I actually forgot it while I was waiting to be unmuted.
I'm sorry.
No. It's my fault. My short-term memory. How about I just give the floor to somebody else until I can remember again?
Okay, done and done. I will. Actually, SOB Brett, you should be unmuted. I think you're already an admin. So,
hey, what's up, EJ?
what's up, Wisconsin?
Yeah, no, excited about this project, man. It's pretty interesting, that's for sure. So, unfortunately, because of EarnHub's demise today with their staking getting hacked, they went down 95%, and I've got an extra 7 BNB because of it. So, I took a little gamble, so I'll be able to invest in Chris's project. So, kind of excited to help out that group, and
yeah,
I'm sure you know, this is good stuff. This is good stuff for all of us.
Yeah,
hey, if you hop in NBC, we offer excellent staking and farming rewards, and we won't get hacked.
Oh, you do have staking over there too?
Of course, we have staking. We have staking and farming. Our top
nice.
priority is always going to be our holders, and our volume after our launch and everything slowed down. And once our volume slowed down, we thought it was going to be a top-notch priority to go ahead and implement staking and farming. That way, any of our holders that still believe in the project and know what direction we're going, they're still being rewarded during this time of low volume. They're still collecting their rewards. And it's worked out for all parties involved. It's locked a lot of value for us. I think we're sitting around 20% of total value locked right now. And that's not
nice.
and that's not including the vested tokens. If you include the vested tokens, we're sitting at 70% total value locked.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So it's a rock solid. I trust DJ, so if he's bringing you aboard, man, then I'm all good.
Well, and we're going to take the same strategy that Chris did with what platforms he used for staking as well, because he's a trusted resource. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Okay.
I did.
Sounds good. Excited, guys.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it, bud.
With that, did you just sneak announce that you're going to be staking and farming?
I didn't say anything. Did not say a word. I don't know what you're hearing, but this is being recorded and it'll be on YouTube. So, but yeah, that is well, the same concept goes that we have our strategic plan, and our strategic plan for now going on 4 months has been to align with partners. And we said this the whole way, that good teams, good utilization of the blockchain, and especially in the real world, that we're going to grab these partners and we're going to hold on tight and we're going to work with them as much as possible. And the nice part is that once you end up like basically building that rapport and building those relationships with other solid teams, you find other amazingly smart devs. And I was even telling Stu about our conversation today, and I'm like, all right, there's so much information that you can gain from humility and being accepting of information coming in from other, I'll call them wise individuals that have already gone through some of the road bumps that we basically see as any project does. And we've looked at a number of different platforms for our staking and pooling, and we'll end up using most likely the one, without announcing it, the one that you've recommended because you've done it. And that's what we need in that space, is to be able to learn from other solid projects that have already done things to, one, increase our holders' trust and confidence in the whole project. But then it just cross-utilization for multiple platforms. Like I think I told you earlier today about, you partnering with Green Life Energy. It's just another project that EVRF can be utilized. It can get additional branding. It can also be able to be implemented for clean energy. With yours, virtual reality space events, no brainer, because it's already something that's dear. And knowing that you have actually some background in the amusement festival, carnival, entertainment space as well, you get the concept of what it's already like to be at one of those events and what this space can open up for not only like younger generations, but you think about older generations that might not be able to attend some of those things that they have in years past or during COVID because potentially it's a risk. It's going to open up so many different more opportunities for people to actually experience real life events, real time, that you don't, you can't take it for granted, because that's real life, and that's stuff that people want to remember and want to be able to be a part of.
And I think you are aware. I obviously have close ties to Green Life still, and that's a great project altogether. It's one of the few projects that I actually promote personally. A lot of people sleep on that project. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all know that there's so many different projects that are in this space that are getting announced. We know that there's so many different launches, and we know that there's so many different teams. And there's a lot of good ones, but there's a lot more bad ones. And we're not doing the, okay, we don't want to promote this one. Oh, these become enemies. Oh, these are guys that we don't want to deal with. It becomes, all right, let's look for the future. Let's look at the bigger picture here. Let's actually spread some light in this damn world because it needs it. And let's do that with other partners that have the right mindset, that have the right strategies, that have the right goal setting, and then build it together as a larger community foundation. And an example of that is just that roundtable that you're setting up. Like that roundtable, I think, will be one of the most massive. I honestly think it'll be one of the most massive things that EverReflect will have been able to be a part of. And where that networking and where that growth will come from just those connections is going to be, you can't put a price on it, because the networking and the context are the valuable assets.
Well, and I think more importantly, even, it'll be so valuable to the community, because the whole purpose behind the roundtable talks is to give that true insider look on exactly what happens behind the scenes in DeFi and what these teams go through, and what not just we put ourselves through, but what we do for the community, and how all that plays out. What actually happens behind the scenes between the negotiations, and how the different projects and teams treat one another, stuff like that. Just giving a behind the scenes look at what actually takes place. Hopefully giving a little bit of education behind what people need to look for in projects and in development teams, and what are the warning signs and what are the good things to look for, as well as how to properly conduct transactions and stuff like that. Yeah, just in general, give a nice open discussion floor between actual product or project leaders, and of course using influencers to reach the crowds that need to be reached. Combining those two forces to give a experience and give the knowledge that so often is missed in this space. I know a lot of devs and a lot of guys behind the scenes that have never gotten a word out in the public. Half of that's because they don't want to, and the other half of that is because the space is so toxic, and you have to be careful about what you say and who you've worked with and stuff like that. So much of it is tiptoeing around what you've done for who and stuff, because you never know what that project is doing or what they end up doing, stuff like that. Shedding some light on how that works and how many of us actually know one another and stuff like that.
Right.
I think it'll be. It is. I think it'll be extremely valuable for the community to get a understanding of how all that works, and at the same time, hopefully, allow some new wave of trust to flow over this entire sector, because we operate in the BSC space, and let's all be real, the BSC space has gone through a lot in the last year and a half, and it needs a lot of cleaning, a whole lot of cleaning up, and a lot of that really is on the consumer side. If we educate the community and allow more people to know what to look for and what to stay away from, then the opportunity for a lot of these projects that do give us a bad rap overall to never even work out, to never even start. They'll never get off the ground. So I think that's what I'm trying to do. It's what I want to do. I know every project I'm involved with is like you. That's what your goals are. And I think together we can at least start the push of making this a united DeFi. And a lot of that, too, to be clear, is not just about sussing out bad projects and stuff. A lot of it is changing the way some communities of some projects, not saying any names, but there's some maxis out there for certain projects that are really rude to other communities. And that's not okay either. I mean, to be a maxi on one project only and to say that every other project, even if they're trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do, that doesn't mean necessarily that they're a bad project and a bad team. They might just be doing it in a different way. And there's always space for that. You never know what type of innovation happens from a separate team, and you should be open-minded enough to accept that innovation when it comes.
Because there
that's
has
all
to
I
be
can say about it.
Yeah, no, but it's the truth. Because in this space, there's so much of a learning curve, but there's also so much that can be attempted, and sometimes people are kind of pigeonholed into, okay, you got to do it this way. And I think that both of our projects, we've done things with both the build up and even through going live that not every other project is tried. And that just shows the willingness of, you're going to fail at some things, but the thing is, you don't know what you're going to learn unless you fail, and you don't know what's going to be able to be benefited on the other side when you do succeed. And that's what's incredible about the way that you guys have done everything that I love so much, is that it's just showing that there's multiple ways to handle a utility token on the blockchain. There's multiple ways for, utilities to be developed, but it really does always go back to the mindset of what you guys have for your team and for what your community is, because every time I've been in any of your community spaces, it's always going back to friendships. It's always going back to like joking around and doing it in a manner that's, we're supporting a legit project that has long-term vision and it has actual substance behind it. And we're the ones that are working behind the scenes for all of our holders. And that's what we want to encourage everybody else to do every single day, because that's what's needed. That's what's needed in this space, is consistent business building and consistent following through of the promises that get pushed to the side so often.
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, keep your community and your holders first. If you tell them you're going to do something, do it.
Yep.
Just do it.
So going back to the roundtable, I know that you said within the next week. Do we have any kind of insight, any kind of information about when you're thinking about what everybody can expect that announcement to come to kind of come out?
Yeah. So what it boils down to is BUSD Buffet's launch is on Thursday, Friday. So I want to give them time to get through their launch. You were well aware of exactly how hectic that really is.
Right.
So ideally, I would like to give them probably until Sunday, Monday. And
Okay.
then and so depending on everybody's schedule between Sunday and Monday, I'll get with everybody privately, work out everybody's schedule, and make sure we have a good time slot that everybody can fit in on. Provided that's the case, we will have an announcement more than likely Friday. It'll benefit BUSD Buffet because they'll be able to announce that roundtable event along with their launch. So that'll be good for them. It'll also be good. It'll also be good for us as well because that announcement's from them with all that hype. Doing something with us will just be beneficial for all parties involved. So we'll kind of use that probably as the kickoff event, and more than likely, Reflex will end up being on with us 2 times in a row, and you'll probably be on with us 2 times in a row.
I'll make the availability because we'll
nice. It's looking like the next one we will have Dive Wallet on, and I can't announce the last project just yet, but they're going to pay attention to the first roundtable event, and depending on how that event goes and stuff, they're going to sign on board as well. They're not big or anything; they're just very picky. So you know the guy. I'll tell you who it is privately. But he's just very picky.
I think I have a pretty good guess. Well, we're going to do this. We have one other guest that I just saw. He raised his hand and then he put it down, but I'm going to unmute him because he's everybody's favorite Texan. And if he doesn't pop in here now, I'm going to be hurt.
Well, don't be hurt.
What up, Coach?
How y'all doing today? Hello, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, Coach. I ain't talked to you in a while. I'm doing good.
Well,
I'm from Texas, too.
Y'all busy folks, and I tend to let busy folks be busy. So, but no, I didn't have a chance to listen to all of it, and but I did hear the part about your roundtable, and I really want to commend you on reaching out. And y'all all know, everybody who knows me knows the educational value I place on teaching folks not just good practices. I don't teach them about bad, what to look for, red flags. I hate those words. I just teach them good practices to be safe in the space. Every project looks to me like it's a good project. That's the way you look at it. Just be safe. And you guys promoting that, finally seeing a group of devs and a group of projects coming together to do that, it just warms my heart. I am very proud that even though, and I hate to say this in front of folks, but you know what I'm fixing to say, Chris, y'all's project had some problems that we couldn't pass y'all at first. And then y'all stayed diligent, worked your tail off, did everything you had to do, and we were able to pass you. And I am so happy that you guys are succeeding in that industry, because your vision of VR, I think I told that same story when I was on the interview with you about living in VR and doing things in real world in VR. And for you to actually do that is just, I want to just say, thank you, because I had that vision when crypto just started. Blockchain and NFTs were just words. Nobody knew what they were. And to see somebody actually putting that out there, it just amazes me that something that I could just guess at is actually becoming a reality. So
it's really cool that it's really cool that you're on here right now, because I was talking to EJ earlier about having to buy through the router before you were buying through Pancake Swap UI, and you might be the only other person that knows what I'm talking about that I talk to on like a regular basis. But actually going through the contract and buying through the router instead of buying through Pancake Swap, yeah.
I
It's
do that
true.
a lot, but I'm not going to teach nobody how to do that, because if they do it wrong, they're going to lose their money.
That's true. That's true.
That's
Hey,
I've been in crypto a really that I do that I don't tell people how to do, because I don't want them missing a step or getting in a hurry, because FOMO is something that I hate with a passion, and I hate the word hate, but I use it because it's a very strong word and I mean it that way. FOMO is what ruining crypto.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it hurts the new people something fierce. But everybody does it because everybody hypes, so they create FOMO, so they create volume. It's just an industry tool that I think should be thrown away. There's no way to do that. Everybody would be hurt. Every project, if they quit doing it, would have that initial hype and bump. And I understand it. It's a necessary evil, but it's hurting crypto. We need to find a better way. And as many smart people as I heard you mention today, if y'all can't come up with a better way, well, then we're doomed. That's all I can tell you. And I shoot from the hip. I say how they are. And if I can't get this many smart people together to say, hey, we got to come up with a better way of onboarding new people into scaring them to missing out, well, then we're not doing something right. So y'all tell me what I need to do from an educational point of view, and I'll keep vetting projects and teaching people what you people as devs look for in each other, and then we'll all work together for the same goal. And I think it's a beautiful sentiment that I heard a few minutes ago, that not anybody will commend anybody on, and I'm here to tell y'all both. Thank y'all for saying that out loud. Thank y'all for being part of that, because that community is not happening in our crypto space.
Yeah. And we
Absolutely.
appreciate that. It's
Definitely.
massive. It is, because the word unite is something that I know that Chris and I both don't take lightly. Like it's hard to find good people in life. It's hard to find good people in business. Sometimes it's damn near impossible to find good people in crypto in the BSC space. And we both have communities of good people. We both have teams of good people. And then we have the collaboration of that we want to build it together. That it's massive for the space of where it can. You just think about what happens with compounding and that concept in all of the trading. That's what will happen with us as we compound and we end up getting more and more communities and more tokens and more projects that are collaborating together. It's going to pay massive dividends, and it's for applications, but also for the tokens and also for the communities. And I want to bring up one other point that I think probably got overlooked because of those fine words from Coach, and that was that Chris and Coach are so old that they had to buy tokens before Pancake version 1. Like that's pretty impressive. I mean, I'm just saying, like that. Not everybody can know. Not everybody can say that.
If you appreciate that.
That's impressive to me. Like how you guys had to buy tokens back in 1989. I love it. I mean, you don't hear enough stories. So.
Got most folks that are our age, they quit worrying about technology a long time ago. I don't know who.
I'm not old. I'm only 30. I'm only 32.
I'm talking about old in knowledge of crypto. I'm talking.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm ancient in crypto. I'm ancient in crypto years.
Old soul.
I'm ancient in crypto years.
Yeah, well, that's what we're referring to. If we're talking about just old, I think I'm the only one qualified. But I'm not even middle-aged yet, so I'm still young. But anyhow, the thing is that the more attention you pay, the better you're going to be. It's that simple. And paying attention is learning who to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And you two right here today, the messages you're putting out, if we could figure out a way to get that to the masses, that right there would be excellent, because that you two having successful programs are speaking from the success point of view, where I just speak from the educational point of view. So,
Well, I can say this much. I'll talk to you. I'll message you privately, and I'll show you what exactly I've got going on. But without spoiling it too much just yet, getting it to the masses is not going to be our problem.
well, the masses are inundated with garbage. Okay, we have to educate them what's garbage is what's not garbage. And I'm sorry to call it garbage, but garbage is garbage. That's just what it is. So if it harms you, it's garbage in the crypto space. If it's harmed through ignorance or it's harmed through lack of dedication, it's still garbage. You guys exhibit the utmost qualities there. You both sit there and give 100% dedication 100% of the time, and you're giving a good product as well. So there's no garbage involved. Yeah. What we're doing at Tango Crypto is trying to teach people how to be educate themselves to find projects like y'all's, because there's so many out there they have to weed through.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And good thing I'm a persistent feller, because I'd have give up a long time ago if I wasn't. It can be overwhelming. And you guys are crossing a threshold now into what I've been doing for years. And I'm not talking about 3 months with Tango Crypto. I'm talking about for years I've been educating people in crypto. And I just went vocal about it when I was asked to. Because talking about social, if I don't see nobody for a month, I'm a tickled pink feather. Social, I don't like being in crowds, so I don't need to be social at all. And but I do realize that strength is in numbers, and I just heard 2 more people adding to my voice today, and that just made my day. It made my year.
Good.
Made my year.
And it's going to be, I've said it a number of times that goal setting is only as good as the mini goals that you set in place and the strategic plans to accomplish those mini goals into the larger goal. And Chris and I have that same concept down to a T. And it takes some time to be able to find these correct strategic partners. But when you find them, you hold on for dear life, because you know that they're the ones that can not only help you in the space of education, but it also helps everything for the industry. Like, we're not talking about small, like, okay, are you affecting the chart today, or are you affecting the volume today? No, this is stuff long-term to be able to bring stability and a foundation that's bigger than just one community to the blockchain. That's massive. And this conversation today is one part of it, and the roundtable will be an extension times 10 or 100 of today, and then continually doing those roundtables, bringing in more and more projects that are like that with real world application and really solid teams. It will explode. You want to talk about 100x or 1,000x? That's where it's at, and that's what we will continue to keep working on every day. And I'll acknowledge this, that, like, thank you for your time, Coach, but I want to go back to our guest again, like, to acknowledge Chris, that he is an old soul he mentioned his age, but as far as his crypto age, you want to talk about dog years, he's a geriatric crypto, not even millennial, because he's younger than a millennial, but the wisdom that the man has in the space, and from the number of projects that one he's already worked on, the one that he's built and is currently working on, and then taking time out to assist other projects. You can't find a more dedicated human being to the blockchain, and a humility that you find so many other people with egos that are in the space that they think that they need to be smarter than other people. He is smarter than 99.9% of all the other people in this space. And he has a humility about himself to be able to share that knowledge and kindness to be able to help other people in other projects. It's incredible, Chris. And honestly, we can't thank you enough that you would even want to take the time to be here, but we're super pumped about EverReflect and what MetaBUSD, coupling that with VR and our NFTs, what it's going to end up doing. It's going to be massive, in my opinion.
I'm a hardcore DeFi maxi, and I believe that all of our freedom is based not just necessarily in blockchain, but also other emerging technologies. But blockchain plays a crucial and essential role in that. And I say DeFi maxi because I'm a firm believer that the real growth and the real stability for the common end user, the man that we all know and love, just the average Joe guy, that guy wins in the DeFi space. He's not going to win through the central powers controlling everything. That's a different talk for a different day. That
could be a 2-hour AMA.
That's where it all comes from for me. I want to help this space grow and grow legitimately. Is really important because that's the only way it's going to last, and I need it to last. It means everything to me. I've built an incredible life and will continue to build incredible relationships with people in this space as long as it's done correctly.
Yep, agreed.
Well,
with that,
I'd like to say one little thing, and then I'll leave you two alone. Thank you for letting me speak, and Chris, it's still an honor to know you, bud. I was honored the first time I got to hear you, and you just reinforced that today. So thank you much.
Hey, and Coach, I love your voice. I'm going to have you on one of our roundtable chats. I'll get in touch with you here very shortly about it.
Okay. Well, you know how I am. You might not like what I say.
Hey, it needs to be said sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I just speak, I speak my mind, but I try not to be ugly. How's that?
That's perfect. That's what we need in the space.
Okay.
That's what you need, right? That's awesome. Thank you, Coach. Chris, man, my brother, I appreciate the time. So excited that we're going to have this partnership. So excited for some of the other things that we'll be able to announce. And as soon as we get the date solidified for that roundtable with the number of other dev teams, and you can finally announce that list of influencers, we will make sure that we share it in our community because it's going to be big. It will be one of the biggest things. I can say that it will be the biggest thing other than basically the token itself that EverReflect has been a part of. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you for your time tonight, man.
Hey, really, I appreciate you having me on, and I'm looking forward to the partnership. I know we've got some great things that we're going to be accomplishing together. And again, the real purpose of it all is just bringing true utility to product. And that's what your idea and your vision is all about. Love it. If we can pair in with that and provide extended utility for the existing products and as well implement our own, as well as implement our own added utilities, that's exactly what I'm all about.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's always great to be able to partner with people that are fun, that are smart, and that just have the right mindset. And we're grateful for it. So thank you so much for your evening tonight. Thank you everybody that took the time to tune in. And as soon as we get those announcements for the next roundtable, we will make sure we bring that to you and any other information between EverReflect and MetaBUSD. So thank you, Chris. You have a good night, brother, and I'll chat with you soon.
Thanks, man.